Hello. Today I've got a bit of a different sort of video to my previous two on my optimal team solver for F1 Fantasy. Today I'm actually going to be just using the solver so that you guys can see it in action, see it being used, I guess, to its full capability, because I'm going to be using some of the advanced features that have some of the big, where am I looking? It's the stuff in red, like the advanced settings. Some of these you may not have access to yet, but when this video goes live, a lot of these don't work currently on the version that you probably have. But this is still a good example showing you the full leverage of the calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through my race prediction. Um, Now it isn't my 100% race prediction because I don't want to give you guys an easy answer. If you want to run your predictions, you need to get the tool, put in your own predictions because obviously it's a game after all. We're all against each other. So um, I guess the beauty of this solver though is that it will give you the best team based on your prediction. So I'm using a prediction, and that prediction is it's a Mercedes 1-2 dominant weekend. I think I got this exact prediction from um, someone's answer to it. It was a competition. There's F1 Fantasy Tracker. It's a Discord I'm in, and they run a competition where everyone puts in their prediction for the weekend, and this was just somebody's prediction that I copied for the example for this video. I slightly altered the qualification because it's just a race prediction, but I think this is quite a feasible result that could happen. So right, so this is the prediction I'm going to be using for this video, and then I'm just going to show you the solver in a couple of situations that people could be in, because you don't just have to run it to get the optimal team. You can run it to do different stuff. So, and I'm going to show you those things now. So, um, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I run the solver with everything enabled. So let's just do that now. Um, and I don't know what to do while it's running. I still not figure this out. Like I'm a rambler. I just talk and hopefully it just goes with the flow. But there's nothing to talk about when it's this running. I guess we can talk about FP1, FP2. Um, do we think Red Bull are? I guess they're not sandbagging, but they're definitely testing something today. I think in FP2, probably doing some different race runs and stuff to test different things to avoid what happened last week where you got easily overtaken on the straights. But it's done. I don't have to ramble anymore. Um, so this is the optimal team based on my outcomes. So this is just one way of using it, which you guys have seen before in my other videos. Um, Now let's do something different now. Let's do something that will throw out a different result and we can see the score of the best outcome for that result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, now this is where it's not really a real use case, but it's definitely something that you can learn from of how to use the advanced features of the calculator. So I'm going to turn off all of the constructors. So these can all be turned off in these advanced settings. So I'm going to turn them all of them off. Now I'm going to turn one of them back on. So I am going to do a Ferrari test. What is the best team built around Ferrari? Um, let's find out. Let's do solve model. While that's solving, I'm just going to show you the result of one I already did, because this is actually the more real actual example. So this is a test for Mclaren because I know that some of you do have McLaren-based teams, and some of you still may have faith in McLaren still, to carry on performing well, carry on maybe outperforming Red Bull. Now, it may be the case that this race weekend, if it goes to our predicted points, you still believe Red Bull if we look here, you still believe Red Bull are going to be the constructors to go for, and they may have the optimal team, but you may be sticking to your McLaren pick for whatever reason. You might be limited on subs, you might be limited on budget, so you might just want to run simply. Okay, I want to know what the best team is for if I'm running McLaren, and it will tell you. It will tell you based on this variable. Basically, you'll force the calculator to only pick McLaren out of the constructors. Now, what? I'll just show you this quickly. So yeah, we've got, as you can see, this ran the Ferrari test, and now it's giving us a Ferrari-based team 170, McLaren-based team 187, and I don't recall what the best possible team was. I think it was two over 200. So clearly both of these aren't as good, but you may want to do this because while the calculator can give you the best possible outcome based on your prediction, it still may not be what you want to go for. You're probably thinking, why? Surely I want the best team. But if we actually start adding some more context and start thinking about how fantasy works, it's like, sure, you predicted that you didn't predict anyone to actually DNF, but you still want to run Schumacher because just in case anyone DNFs, you want to run that risk. Or you may think that, okay, Perez is gonna. I think Perez is gonna finish P4, and then maybe and based on my outcome, there might be better turbo drivers. Like there might be better turbo drivers like Norris, for example. And maybe there's outcomes where Perez just isn't picked, but you believe that even though you think that like the actual outcome is going to finish fourth, you still want to take that gamble that Perez could finish P2, P1, and him as a turbo driver in those situations would be incredible results. You're going to get double a P2 finish, which would be insane. And if you got P2 from P4, that's 2 overtakes. So you'd be laughing. You'd be getting back points that maybe you lost in previous weeks based on keeping him around, basically, and maybe continue turbo driving him. And you might get those points back based on a good week. So his average might balance out. So, how would you force the calculator to force to pick certain assets? You can't. That's the downside of this. So it only does linear equations. So I could probably configure this at some point to be able to do this and actually tell you your subs. But there's still a way you can find out that answer. You just have to do a couple more steps. So the way I'm going to do this, and I've just got different sheets for running each example. So if I mess anything up, and I recommend you guys do this too, if you mess anything up, doesn't matter. Just delete the sheet, make a new copy, start again. Easy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm happy with my Red Bull. Let's say we're happy with Red Bull. So I'm going to turn every constructor off so that it forces me to pick Red Bull. Then I'm going to turn off Perez. Now, why? You're probably thinking. Now, I'm going to do that because actually I want to build a team that definitely has Perez in it. Now, this can't output you a team at the moment in its current state that will definitely have Perez in it. However, actually it can, but you'd have to do some changes to this. But don't worry about that. This is in terms of the easy to use features. It won't work. You'd actually have to change the solver. But where was I? Yes, okay. So I'm going to force it to pick Red Bull. Then I'm going to force it not to pick Perez. It's slightly different with the constructors because the constructors have the luxury of like I can turn them all off because you only pick one anyway. You could even do this actually. We'll do this actually. We'll turn Red Bull off and we'll just turn constructors off. So it's not going to pick a constructor at all. Now I've turned Perez off, so I want two things to be true. I want to pick Red Bull and Perez. Those are my go-to. I know I'm having those. Let's chuck Norris in there for good measure because he's just such good value, and this is actually a true example. Now, what do we want it to do now? So currently the team size is going to pick 5 assets. Now we've turned constructor off, so this is a simple equation. Don't be too scared of this one. This is 6 minus or minus 1 if constructor's off. So and now I want to take 2 more off because I've disabled 2 drivers that I know I'm going to pick. So I'm going to change this to 4. Team size is now at 3. Now, one more thing I need to do is I need to tell it what budget it has left with. So I'm going to quickly head to my team picker. And I'm going to pick Perez, Norris, and Red Bull. Now apparently I've got 45.8 million left. So I'm going to go to my sheet setup. I'm going to change that now to 45.8. Was it 45.8? Of course, it changes when I do that. Let's go back. Let's check. 45.8. It was 45.8. So 45.8. Enter that in. And head back to my optimal team picker. Now, this should be good to go. One thing I do recommend taking off for this is the turbo driver option. It's not essential, but I would just turn it off because you probably, like this example, most examples you run this, you probably already have a good idea, like you're keeping probably a turbo driver asset. If you're not, then sure, turn it on. So if it was like you were doing this example with a Schumacher Red Bull, where you're 2 dead set given, then sure, turn turbo driver on. It'll pick it for you. But for this example, actually, I know I'm going to turbo driver Perez. So I'm going to turn turbo driver off. And now I'm going to run solve model. And it's going to figure out now the remaining 3 picks that I should pick for my team. Is it 3 picks? Wait, what did I do? Is it 3? Yeah, it's 3. It's 3 picks. Okay. So it's gonna go through, build it up with the budget we've given it, and it's gonna give me my best team. It's not gonna be my best team actually. It's not that complicated. It's gonna give me 3 drivers to then I can add in to my team picker. And there we go. Bottas, Gasly, and Ocon. So now if I chuck this in and go Bottas, Ocon, I have Mind of a Goldfish, Gasly, that was it. And Gasly. Now, because we've manipulated the spreadsheet to do more than, like, more advanced, like this will say you can't afford it, but just go back to your sheet setup, put your original budget back in, and you'll be able to afford it. And then you can see here, this is the predicted. Got a 205. And yeah, that's me using the calculator in a more advanced way, without actually having to change the solver in any way. So this is something that I hope you can actually learn from, and learn to actually manipulate the calculator more, using the sheet itself. Now there are ways where you can do this, you changing the solver itself. So you see all these, they're less than or equal to. So you could change some of these to be actually equal, to, for example, you can have it equal to 1. You could force, for example, rather, where's Perez? Perez is 12. So basically, rather than the constraint on Perez being pick 1 Perez or 0 Perez's, you could force it, change this to equals to be like, okay, 100% pick a Perez, which is the other way you could basically get the same outcome, but you would get the entire team here if you manipulated the solver. But that's a more, that's another level of advanced. So I'm trying to build everything in the sheet itself so that it's accessible, easy to use, and I had a third point, but I've lost it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope seeing me use the calculator in some different ways helps you understand it more, how it works. And yeah, I hope it helps you get as many points as possible for your F1 fantasy team.